There's no ensigns here.
We are live.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Two Captains, One Pod.
What kind of pod we're in? You people.
First and foremost, happy Halloween to all of our listeners. It is the Halloween episode.
Happy
and
Halloween, you filthy animals.
so in keeping with tradition. Yeah, but we can't say the line. In keeping with tradition, we're also going to be this podcast is going to do a movie that cosplayed as Star Trek. Yep. We're talking Galaxy Quest this week.
I'm getting too.
And a lot of the background, or a lot of, let's see, Galaxy Quest was written kind of as a spoof movie for Star Trek, but had a really cool concept, and a lot of a lot of who the characters are in Galaxy Quest is actually based on the actors from Star Trek.
Jeez.
The original series, that would be. Alan Rickman's character, matter of fact, would be is loosely based on Leonard Nimoy in his I Am Not Spock era, before he learned to accept the character. But I do have a beautiful article. This movie, though, has one hell of a concept, and honestly, I'm sad we never got a second one.
So am I.
It has been talked
I can take it
about.
or leave it.
A second one has been teased and talked about for a little bit, but it's gotten harder and harder over the years after the 2016 passing of Sir Alan Rickman.
Makes sense.
This film would be the debut for two actors here, Justin Long and Rainn Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Dwight Schrute. That's right. For those of you, though, that would like to get like to follow along and read the article for yourself, I read it word for word, as you guys know. But if you want to read it on your own, it's at ranker.com, ranker.com. 17 behind the scenes stories from Galaxy Quest. I chose this one because the other article that I had pulled up all week, I decided to read into it, and it was like 20 facts you should know about Galaxy Quest, and it's all basic shit. Like every bit of it is basic. And then it was like one line, like it said that Galaxy Quest was written as a Star Trek parody, and then it would repeat that in the regular text, and it pissed me off. So I found this one. This one looked interesting because it's behind the scenes stories, so it goes a little bit more in depth with its stuff, and tells us about the making of the film versus the film itself, which honestly pretty cool considering some of the other articles that we've read. First and foremost, so if you had to choose a favorite character from Galaxy Quest, who you choose them?
I'm gonna be real with you. It's been so goddamn long since I've seen this movie. I don't actually remember it.
Sigourney Weaver's character.
I have to go. I have to go with Alan Rickman's character. fucking love him. The redemption at the end where he's like, you know, the whole movie, I'm not going to say the fuck and fuck that line. I'm not doing it. I will never say it again. And then becomes friends with the aliens. One of them dies and he says the line and then beats the shit out of our bad guys. Great.
Say it. Say the line.
By Grabthar's hammer, I shall avenge you.
Good boy. At least we know you can follow orders well.
Wow.
Wow.
That coming from my chief engineer. Jesus Christ.
Your ship doesn't run without me.
I don't know. We were doing pretty fine for a little bit, motherfucker.
On vacation again. Don't fucking try me. Rise is nice this time of year.
Rise is nice any time of year.
Exactly. See how
So
well your
let's
ship
get
runs.
into this. Huh?
Let's see how well your ship runs without a goddamn warp core.
Get the HR paper.
All right, Jordy. I don't.
I will eject your warp
I don't
core
need
into the
you.
heart of a goddamn sun. Don't try me.
All right. Let's get into this article. Let's see. Number one, Alan Rickman would sit with the Thermians at lunch. Now, if there's one thing the cast and crew of the Galaxy Quest could agree on, it's that Alan Rickman was a kind and authentic gentleman throughout the filming of the movie. Galaxy Quest was Missy Powell's first major role in a feature film. So three actors got their launch off this movie. And she fondly recalled how Rickman would sit and have lunch with some of the lesser-known members of the team. Alan Rickman was such a kind, generous, and extremely talented actor, and he just always made time for everybody. Lunchtime would come around, and a lot of the bigger stars would go off to their trailers. And he'd come sit with the Thermians every day at lunch, and was just kind, generous, lovely human. Love stories like that. Again, I miss Alan Rickman. Personally, we lost him too soon. Fuck cancer. 100%. Number two, Sigourney Weaver advised an actor to steal her costume on the last day. That just sounds like Sigourney Weaver, first and foremost. Love her to death.
Every action movie ever.
Well, she not her. I'm just saying that's cool shit. Like, yeah, take it. I don't give a shit. You know, fucking run with it. Sigourney Weaver had a plethora of science fiction experiences when she came on board Galaxy Quest, despite the filmmakers preferring to avoid such a thing. She knew her way around the set and offered some interesting advice to her co-star, Missy Powell, who told MTV of an interesting encounter with the veteran actor. Sigourney Weaver would occasionally just throw me tidbits of wisdom, and then on our last day, she reached over and whispered to me and said, "Steal your costume." That's fucking dope. Oh my god. Number three is Alan Rickman disliked Tim Allen at first, but they shortly became friends. Alan Rickman was the most veteran actor in Galaxy Quest, and he'd worked for decades in theater and film. While he was happy to work with everyone, there was some tension between Rickman and Tim Allen when they began shooting. 5 days after Rickman died, Allen wrote an article for The Hollywood Reporter discussing their time working together and the friendship they built. I don't think he liked me all that much when we first started shooting Galaxy Quest. I was a stage performer, a concert comic, and I was coming into this group of very polished thespians: Sigourney Weaver and Sam Rockwell and Tony Shalhoub, and then Alan adding his English roots. All of them had this process and method, voice stretching, and all that kind of prep. And it was so different from mine. I was doing penis jokes right up to action. He was just an amazing person and an amazing actor. We had these dinner parties during the Galaxy Quest production, and Alan always brought gifts whenever he came to the house. He was that kind of guy. He had class and style and manners, but he was also gentle and funny and wonderful. Rickman would sometimes acerbic about Alan's lack of theatrical training. After one particularly dramatic scene, director Dean Pressett recalled, "I turned back and Tim is just completely emotional. He says, 'Yeah, I don't like these feelings I'm having. I'd like to go back to the trailer.' And Alan Rickman said, 'Oh my God, I think he's just experiencing acting.'" That is greatness.
Sorry, how did you say pronounce that name? Tony what?
You talk about Dean Parasite?
No, you said Tony and then pronounce his last name for me again.
Tony Shalhoub?
I'm gonna smack the shit out of you.
Well, how do you fucking say it?
I'm gonna smack you all the way from Louisiana, all the way to California, and then back again. His name is Tony Shalhoub, and you will put respect on it, or I swear to God, I will put it in your mouth.
Tony Shalhoub.
I hate you. I'm leaving. I don't have to stand for this shit.
You're not standing, you're sitting down.
I was waiting to see who was going to say it.
If he didn't, I was about to. By Grabthar's hammer was supposed to be a temporary line. By Grabthar's hammer is a reoccurring line used as a catchphrase for Alan Rickman's character, Alexander Dane's Dr. Lazarus. Dane is annoyed with having to repeat it every time he goes to a convention or visits a fan. It's akin to Leonard Nimoy's Live Long and Prosper. The full line is by Grabthar's hammer, by the sons of Warvin. You shall be avenged. And Rickman says it with meaning after one of the Thermians is killed. It's a great scene and a wonderful line. But it was never intended to be in the final cut. As screenwriter Bob Gordon told MTV, by Grabthar's hammer was a temporary line. It was basically the hammer of Thor, but Grabthar just sounded so silly. I kept meaning to change it, but around the production offices, they started to make T-shirts and it started to sink in a little bit. Honestly, though, I love what we have. I don't know what could have been different. I enjoy that line. Like I said, it's one of my favorite parts. This one, let's see. Remembering something else, but I'm wondering if this is in here. No, it's not. Okay. So also, one of the cool things about the actual ship, is that on the side of it, it reads NTE 3120. And the rumor goes that the NTE stands for Not the Enterprise.
Yeah, that tracks.
This has been, yeah. This has been thrown around by the actors, by some of the writers. The NTE stands for Not the Enterprise, but there's no official statement anywhere of that actually being what it stands for. But I love that. I do. I find that the most hilarious part about the actual ship itself. And furthermore, let's go back to last week's episode. I could see the NSEA protector in the Orville. Like, it looks like that ship would fit perfectly in the Orville series.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah. Such a beautiful, streamlined ship, too. I mean, honest to God. I've been trying to find a model of it for years, but when I do find them, they're either small as shit or really fucking expensive. Number 5, Sigourney Weaver had a blast being a busty blonde. Sigourney Weaver has played a lot of different characters over the years, and while she's been the love interest of another character a time or two, she'd never been the busty blonde until Galaxy Quest. Weaver had to add padding and squeeze herself into her costume to achieve the right look, and she topped it off with a blonde wig. Alan Rickman told MTV he remembered Weaver walking around saying she was in a whole new world with the wig. Producer Mark Johnson expanded on this. Sigourney loved her accentuated bosom and blonde wig. She'd sometimes leave at the end of the day dressed up like that. She'd just go to her hotel with the enhanced breasts and padding and all squeezed in, and it was fun. Weaver added, blondes definitely have more fun. I love being a starlet. I miss my breasts. I miss my blonde hair. I miss my insecurity. Greatness. Number 6, Sigourney Weaver was disqualified for auditioning but insisted anyway. When it came to casting Galaxy Quest, the filmmakers were firm in casting only actors with no science fiction background. One of the actors who made it into the film, Sigourney Weaver, played one of the genre's greatest heroines, Ellen Ripley, in the Alien franchise. Because of this, she was disqualified from even auditioning for the movie. Despite this, Weaver was adamant about getting an audition to play Gwen DeMarco. As she explained in an interview with MTV, I heard about it from my agent. He said they won't consider anyone who has done science fiction. I insisted on being seen. Weaver elaborated on her interest in taking the role. It's funny considering my background, but I was never into science fiction. I like The Twilight Zone. That's as close as I ever got. I thought Flash Gordon was stupid. I think Star Trek happened and I missed it. I was in the theater and then suddenly I did Alien. Suddenly, I was straddling two very different worlds. I'll watch Star Trek once in a while, look at those cheap sets. But I just felt Galaxy Quest as a comedy was such a love letter to all the insecure actors in the field who have done so many wonderful and somewhat underappreciated projects. And even though Star Trek is very popular, it was very specific. Tony S. played his role as a non-Asian guy playing an Asian and as a stoner. When Tony was offered the role of Fred Kwan, he was somewhat confused. Tony, who is of Lebanese ancestry, told The Hollywood Reporter, the character seemed to be written for an Asian guy, so it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I told them I was happy to meet with Dean again, but I wanted to know if the role was going to change or at least maybe change the name. While the director wasn't keen on changing the name, he worked with Tony to modify the character. There wasn't that much for the character in the initial script. Tony jumped on this idea I had to base it on David Carradine's persona in the series Kung Fu. Tony studied Carradine's work and latched onto the belief that Carradine was stoned the entire time he worked on the series. They rewrote the dialogue as filming progressed to add to his character. Tony is almost always eating snacks throughout the movie, which is what he figured a stoned actor would do in such a situation. That's fucking hilarious. Number 8, Steven Spielberg dropped by the set and everyone geeked out. Galaxy Quest was put together by DreamWorks Pictures. The company started by Steven Spielberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and David Geffen. Spielberg functions as the chairman of DreamWorks, so he sometimes gets involved in the production. When he visited the Galaxy Quest set, everyone geeked out, including Tim Allen, who told MTV Steven Spielberg was on the set for one day. The day when I had to apologize to Enrico's character, Mathazar. He's being killed, and I have to admit I am all bullshit. Now I come out of the comedy world. This kind of stuff doesn't come easy to me. I didn't see him. He was at the director's camp. But he came by and said that was really good. It wasn't like he was ass kissing. Why would Steven Spielberg have to do that with me? But he said something very professional, and I was like, whoa. Being in the presence of the biggest director of all time was something the rest of the cast appreciated. Alan Rickman said it was hard to have a conversation. You could hear every word coming out of your mouth, and you just want to stop talking. Daryl Mitchell had the best encounter, which he summed up rather... I fucking don't even know that word. What the fuck? Let me tell you the coolest part. He got me a bottle of water. Mr. Steven Spielberg got me a bottle of water. Number 9, Sam Rockwell wanted to ennoble the coward archetype with Guy. Of the many memorable characters of Galaxy Quest, the best might be the one nobody was meant to remember. Guy. Sam Rockwell, who plays the character beautifully. He's this guy who's caught up in a big adventure, and he's taken the red shirt, who will die no matter what, to make the character work. Rockwell decided to channel the cowards that came before him. I wanted to ennoble the coward archetype. I thought of the best cowards in cinematic history, like John Toretto in Miller's Crossing. When we did the shuttle scene, I drank 4 cups of coffee and downed 2 Excedrin. I wanted to be so hyped that I would have a nervous breakdown on the shuttle. I don't know if it worked, but I was very hyper and freaking out. I think I had a couple beers to calm me down. Rockwell's goal was to play his part as realistically as possible. What would a person really do when they were put in this situation? In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he explained his line of thinking, saying, I was constantly pacing and drinking coffee to try to get crazy and make myself insanely scared. What's great about Bill Paxton and Aliens is that he's playing it authentic. He's really scared, and that's what makes it funny. So I went for that. Number 10, Sigourney Weaver's character drops an F-bomb that was dubbed badly on purpose. Galaxy Quest is rated PG, and as most moviegoers know, that limits the kind of language allowed to be in the movie. For example, PG-13 films can drop a single F-bomb, while PG movies can't have any. Despite this, the film has 1 F-bomb, though it's carefully edited to ensure no children will be harmed by hearing it. Seeing it, on the other hand, is a different story. When Gwen and Jason enter a room filled with deadly traps called chompers that have no place outside a side-scrolling video game, she doesn't like what she sees. She exclaims, "Oh, screw that," but it's obvious from her lip movements that Weaver doesn't actually say screw. She says, fuck. Bob Gordon, one of the screenwriters, explained how the movie was initially planned to be R-rated. He detailed the various aspects of what he wanted in the film in an interview with MTV. There's talks about the so-called R-rated version of the film. When I originally wrote it, I wasn't thinking about a family film. I just wanted what I wanted to see. So when the ship lands in the convention hall in the original draft, it decapitates a bunch of people. There was also stuff we shot where Sigourney tries to seduce some of the aliens. It was cut, and that's why her shirt is ripped at the end. Also, the worst dubbed F-bomb ever. Good for Dean for never shooting coverage on that. Parasot regretted cutting the line and would have preferred to keep it in the film. He told The Hollywood Reporter, that moment where she swears got so many laughs. It was a shame they cut it. I purposefully dubbed it really bad so it wouldn't stick out. The studio head admitted he blew it when it came to marketing the movie. Galaxy Quest made some decent money at the worldwide box office, but it didn't break any records. On a $45 million budget, it managed to rake in $90.7 million, making it profitable, but barely. Typically, a film needs to make back double its budget to account for marketing costs, or the studio loses cash, so Galaxy Quest was a close one. The problem may have been poor marketing. Producer Mark Johnson told The Hollywood Reporter, "We never felt the campaign did the movie justice. The movie was successful with over 90 million in earnings, but this film should have done twice that. The home video sales were incredible." The cast also spent little time promoting the film. Sigourney Weaver recalled Alan Rickman promoting the movie in Australia, but that was about it. Director Dean Parisot said most films fall off during the second week, and we were seeing Galaxy Quest climb in its second week and climb again during its third weekend. Jeffrey Katzenberg called me during the second weekend and said, "I think we screwed up the advertising for this. I'm sorry." Number 12, this is a little known secret that we almost had an entirely different Galaxy Quest, considering Harold Ramis was set to direct but clashed over Tim Allen's casting. Dean Parisot helmed Galaxy Quest, but he wasn't the first choice. Initially, Harold Ramis was tasked to direct the film, and he came on board and began the casting process, aiming to secure Alec Baldwin for the lead role that ultimately went to Tim Allen. Baldwin turned the part down, so offers were extended to Steve Martin and Kevin Kline, who didn't work out. Finally, Tim Allen was cast to play Jason Nesbitt, but Ramis disagreed with his casting. As a result, he left the project, and Parisot was sitting in the director's chair in less than a month. Parisot explained the situation to MTV. "Harold didn't want to do the movie because we couldn't cast it. The people we went to all turned it down, and by the time we got to Tim Allen, Harold couldn't see it. To Harold's benefit and credit, when he eventually saw the movie, all he kept saying was how wrong he'd been." Number 13, everyone was afraid of getting sued over Star Trek references.
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy Quest is both an homage and a parody of Star Trek. Still, it had to be made carefully, so it wouldn't infringe on any intellectual properties that might gain the attention of Paramount's attorneys. After all, the point was to make a movie highlighting what everyone hates about Star Trek. But the filmmakers didn't want to be sued. Director Dean was cautious of this and worked hard to avoid any potential litigation. Everybody was afraid of being sued. We made that movie. Everything we would start to design or come up with. You fucking bitch. Hold on. My shit just fucked up. Okay. Everything we would start to design or come up with, it couldn't help but be relevant in some way to Star Trek. Tony explained to MTV that they were careful not to say the word beam, and Parisot explained how other movies took studio attention away from theirs, making it easier to get away with some of the more apparent references. We were constantly being told we had to change things. Now, I probably shouldn't admit it, but the adults weren't watching us too closely when we were making this. DreamWorks, still in their first push, were making a bunch of other movies, and Gladiator was a big deal, and we were sort of doing our thing. Number 14, Tim Allen was told Galaxy Quest would use his smartass skills. While he wasn't the first director's first choice for the role of Jason Nesmith, Tim Allen plays the character to perfection. His smart-ass take on a character comes through perfectly, and as it happens, that's how the role was first pitched to him. In an interview with MTV, Allen explained how he was offered the job. DreamWorks founder Jeffrey Katzenberg got a hold of me and said, "We have a perfect movie that would use your smart-ass skills, and it's science fiction." At the time, he was up for two other science fiction films. One was an Angel movie that never saw the light of day, and the other was Bicentennial Man, which went to Robin Williams. Alan explained that it had no sense of humor to it. It's very sad. But anyway, within 3 weeks of casting me, Galaxy Quest had Dean Paris on and went into a very different direction. Hold the fuck up. Bicentennial Man damn near went to Tim Allen, of all people. I don't see that one. I can't see that one. I can't even fathom that. Home Improvement, or what's that new one he's on with Kat Dennings?
Shifting Gears.
Something. Yeah, Shifting Gears. Ones like Last Man Standing, and then you get into his film roles. Fucking Woody from Toy Story, or no, Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. This role fits Tim Allen a lot better than Bicentennial Man did. And to say that if he didn't take this role, that he would have been Bicentennial Man, irritates me, because it's one of my favorite Robin Williams films. I don't watch it that often because, as the article and Tim Allen said, it is very fucking sad. The whole story is fucking tragic, but still lovely. Still a great film. And as I said, personally, one of my personal Robin Williams favorites. Okay. Number 15, Sigourney Weaver hired a stripper to come to the set for co-star Daryl Mitchell's birthday. Oh my god. Oh. It's not uncommon for people to celebrate a birthday with a party. Some people even hire strippers for friends. Still, it's not often someone like Sigourney Weaver takes the lead and hires a stripper to come to where you work and put on a show. Daryl Mitchell may be the only person who can claim such a distinction, which he explained to MTV. For my birthday, Sigourney Weaver set up a stripper to come to the set and do a quick lap dance. They put her in a uniform, so it wasn't hard to slip her in because we had a lot of extras. But when it was time for the stripper to dance, Sigourney runs out of the room like there's a fire. I'm like, you're going to bring the stripper, and then you're going to leave?
Yeah, that
has got to be the most badass distinction anyone on the face of the earth can say.
Yeah, that's
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm able to say some really cool shit, but to sit there and say that you got a lap dance from a stripper that Sigourney Weaver hired for your birthday, hands down the greatest thing that's ever been said. Yeah, I would enjoy such a distinction, 100%. And it's not even about the stripper. It's the fact of how good of a friend you gotta be to hire a stripper for somebody, okay, you don't just hire a stripper for any old friend of yours, you know. And you got to be a real good friend to hire a stripper for somebody.
Right.
That you know, like I'd hire a stripper for you guys, but like let's say I wouldn't hire one for Lumen, you know. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Lumen. Lumen's a really good friend, but I know you guys a little bit better than I know Lumen. So, you know, I'd hire one for you guys.
So what you're saying is if my next birthday comes around and there ain't a stripper knocking at my door, I should come down to Louisiana and kick your ass?
As long as you make the trip.
Yes.
Oh my god. I wonder though. I wonder though. With them having put the stripper in one of the uniforms and moving her into the extras, does she appear on screen? I wonder if she appears on screen at any point.
I mean, you gotta wonder.
Right. Even if it is just in the background, you know, she's walking around. Could you imagine you're just a fucking stripper one day? You get hired, you show up, and the person that meets you at the door is fucking Sigourney Weaver, putting you into a costume, putting you in with the extras for the movie, so you end up being in the movie, and then you strip for another one of the actors. That's also another badass story that someone on the face of this earth gets to tell. Number 16, Tim Allen had a piece of the Alien set and begged Weaver to sign it. When most people think of a celebrity, they likely don't consider the fact that they're people too. And they can be fans just like us. Tim Allen is a fan of the Alien franchise, so when he found out he was working with Sigourney Weaver, he hounded her to sign a piece of the Nostromo spaceship set from Alien. I bugged the shit out of Sigourney with something from Alien that I bought. A plastic thermocast relief. And I annoyed her to death to sign it. She kept saying, of course I'll sign it. But the movie was getting close to wrapping, and it really meant I had to beg her. I had to put my foot down and say, no, you're going to go back to New York, and I'm going to have to fly out this fucking piece that's on my wall. After months of working together, she finally agreed to sign it, writing, stolen by Tim Allen, loves Sigourney Weaver, which he didn't appreciate. Weaver told MTV he asked her, why would you write that? I was going to put in my screening room, which she noted was such a Hollywood thing to say. I kind of got to disagree with Tim Allen here. That's kind of fucking hilarious. You know, getting something signed like that, stolen by, and then have your name put on it. That's kind of fucking hilarious. Number 17 in our final one, Tim Allen goofed around constantly. Tim Allen is a comedian at heart, and he's the kind of guy who keeps everyone around him on their toes. That's the consensus from Galaxy Quest director and cast. And according to him, or according to them, he's also the kind of guy who enjoys fart jokes. Missy Powell described the set as like working with 12-year-old boys. Sigourney Weaver told MTV Allen was always joking around. So whenever they were waiting to shoot something, that was his default setting. Director Dean Parasot had this to say about Allen. You can't get annoyed at Tim. Tim is like your little brother who comes in and just goofs around. Maybe it got annoying for Alan Rickman, but you could never tell whether that was Alan being in character or Alan actually responding to Tim. that is the end of our Galaxy Quest behind the scenes stories. Some of those are actually pretty cool. Others are, kind of, basic. You can kind of guess that. Um, oh my god, this movie cracks me the fuck up still. For those of you that would like to watch Galaxy Quest, if you're looking for a place to find it, if you have Paramount Plus, it is available there. Which is also the same place you can find any and everything Star Trek for the time being. I say that for the time being because, as we know, Paramount is going through a little bit of a rebrand and blah, 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 with Skydance taking over as that starts to take effect. I doubt they'll take Star Trek off the site or off Paramount Plus, because then they'd have a plethora of fans rioting at their doors, including myself. Okay, so John, I've got a question for you though. Do you have any idea what the different colors on Galaxy Quest mean?
Well, there is a meaning behind it, much I know. As far as I can tell, it seems to be like gray for command type deals,
Right.
blue for kind of engineering and whatnot. Be the case. Purple seems to be for the sciences department. I think they just kind of slapped red. That's no idea what red.
Right, and she's
got one job on this
technically
stupid ship.
she's
She's got one job on this ship.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but she's gonna do it. So I have no idea what red could possibly be.
Red is the embodiment of the computer, the human computer.
Red is the sex appeal.
Red is the sex appeal, 100%.
I mean, I can see it. So I mean, I don't know.
Honestly, with all the different casting choices though for Jason Nesmith, I don't think this film would have done anywhere as good with anybody else but Tim Allen on it. Personally, I think this cast is perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
I can't really picture anybody else in these roles whatsoever. They all play their parts just absolutely beautifully. Especially the serious moments with Tim Allen. Again, it was kind of a struggle for him at this point in time in his career, but he pulled them off beautifully. He really did.
Yeah.
This role, of course, leading to Zoom, one of my other favorite Tim Allen movies. I fucking love Zoom. If you guys haven't seen that, go check that one out. That's fucking hilarious. Kind of a similar concept to this movie, where all the comic book heroes that you've read about are actually real. They're just retired now. Retired, old, and one of them was presumed dead. If you were to put any crew, though, take any Star Trek crew and put them in the sense of this movie, the actors go to their actual enterprise or Voyager or Deep Space Nine. They actually go there and start doing things as their characters would. Which group would you love to see do that? And I'm going to add something here. Not currently. Put them all in their prime, so that all of the members of said crew are alive and well enough to pull something like this off.
Probably Next Generation. I feel like that could get thing real quick.
Original Star Trek.
Original Star Trek and Next Gen. I think it's kind of like, I would love to see them all do it personally, just because I think it'd be fun shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's really a toss up though between Next Gen and Deep Space Nine. Now, the reason I say Next Gen is because you're going to have these people grabbing Brent Spiner and LeVar Burton, and they're going to think Brent Spiner is a fucking android, and they're going to give Geordi or LeVar Burton an actual real visor that could connect to his brain and function like Geordi's visor is theoretically supposed to function. And I would love to see LeVar go through that. I'd love to see Brent Spiner and LeVar Burton try to explain their way out of those two situations. However, with Deep Space Nine, it gets a little funky because here you have Benjamin Sisko, who is the emissary to the prophets. And so if a group of people saw Deep Space Nine, thought they were historical tapes, and came to grab them, they would wonder, one, how Benjamin Sisko escaped the Celestial Temple and is back. Two, why he cannot talk to the prophets now. And three, you'd have the most hilarious, I think we'd have the most hilarious interactions. Take Guy from Galaxy Quest, and that would be Bashir. That would be Sidage trying to play Bashir. Because he's supposed to be cocky, but all of a sudden, he's not cocky anymore, is he? Because he don't know shit. So it'd be a toss-up between them, but I would love to see the original series crew in something like this. Just for the simple fact, I can hear the line now. Damn it, Bill! I'm an actor, not a doctor.
I just want to see the original series because I want to hear William Shatner do his Captain Kirk voice all the time. Just have to speak like that nonstop because that's how they hear him.
That's a good point. Leonard, I don't think this is going to work. We might have to come up with a different solution.
Not to mention the fact if you have to think about how sassy Nichelle Nichols would be at that point. She'd be the only one that would fully just step right into her role and not even give a shit.
Right. He would be the Sigourney Weaver character. I have one damn job on this ship, and goddamn it, I'm gonna do it.
And the rest of you bastards are not gonna stop me.
No.
Oh God! And then think about Sulu,
Mm.
George Takei. Hello.
You put him in front of the actual helm of the actual Enterprise, and you're gonna hear two words. Oh my.
Why I can never read 50 Shades of Grey. Because every time What's Her Nuts says, oh my, all I could think of is, oh my.
No, you want a real reason why not to ever read 50 Shades of Grey? Go on YouTube and look up Gilbert Godfrey reads 50 Shades of Grey. I promise you will in fact cry from laughter, but at the same time you will be so horrified you will never ever again want to hear certain words. There's nothing like sheer ear torture as listening to Gilbert Godfrey pronounce the word vulva.
Jesus Christ, the type of shit.
Specific post that happens to describe that. Let me see. But yeah, it said like every time Anastasia says, "Oh my," it sounds like George Takei, and then I think he said by page by page 4, Christian was starting to sound like William Shatner, Captain Kirk, circa Star Trek the original series, and by page 12 he was picturing everybody wearing Enterprise uniforms, and there was no way the story was coming back. And he didn't even make it to any of the sex scenes.
That's greatness. All right. If you could get any of the uniforms from Galaxy Quest, or if you could cosplay any of the characters from Galaxy Quest, who would it be? Which uniform would you grab?
I have no idea. Like I said, it's been a good number of years since I've seen this movie, so let me look that up.
I think I'd want Jason Nesbitt's form from, like, after he gets transported to the real shit. That like kind of
right.
That kind of like almost formal looking thing he wears.
Mm-hmm. When he starts wearing a captain's uniform.
The actual one that the Thermians made for
him. Mm-hmm.
Not the one from the TV show.
Right. I think
I'd have to go with Tim Allen's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably cosplay Alan Rickman's character. Like the full headpiece and everything. It just looks cool.
And you certainly have the forehead for it. Or should I say 5-head?
You know, you say that about me, but when you cut your hair real short, it's hard to tell where your fucking hairline begins and your forehead stops.
There it is.
At least I don't look like a butch lesbian.
Only when I shave.
You can get the HR paperwork ready. It ain't gonna matter when I eject this warp core out into the fucking sun.
And the subsequent court-martial document.
It won't be the first time.
Certainly won't be.
I haven't been found guilty yet.
The last time was a technicality.
Why do you think I was on Ryza for all those months? It wasn't a court. That wasn't a court martial. It was a nice vacation that they gave me.
Somebody's gonna have a beach day.
You say suspended without pay. I say vacation.
Oh my god. The shit we get into. The shit we get into.
What's the
But
we
going
stuff?
back to
I'm bragged here.
going back to the article though, and one of the pieces we read on the article, being that the rated R version of the script showed the Protector decapitating fans as it crashed into the convention towards the end of the movie.
Christ.
I
Would that
think I
count as
stand with
North
them. Huh?
Would they count as North Tower or South Tower?
I think that would count
Well,
as a Pentagon.
Yeah, I'd say it's a lower building, not too many floors. uh, I kind of, I think I stand with a lot of the fans of this movie when I say I would love to have seen the rated R version of this. But let's see.
I suppose that's fair.
I've got, as far as this movie goes, I do have 2 model kits from this movie. Well, one, but it's 2 things inside the model kit. I got their phaser and their communication device. The kit they made on that one. Pretty fun kit, pretty easy build, not too
It can't be complicated if you were able to put it together.
There
oh
it
ha
is.
ha, fuck you.
Not a matter of if, only when.
Yeah, whenever Hannah says yes.
She's in another room. What she doesn't know won't hurt her.
No, but it might hurt you.
It's cute. You think you can.
Look, all I'm saying is I've been eating pudding cups without a spoon since I was 7.
Says that's-
This doesn't count. That's yogurt.
Doesn't count. It's yogurt.
Different kind of white stuff.
That's the kind
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No. You've already started it. Say it.
Yeah, it's the kind of white stuff that gets.
Oh my God.
Oh, please. That man's never been excited about yogurt before in his life. It's healthy for you.
I'll have you know, I would smash a good Trix yogurt right about now, but they quit making
Trix
those.
yogurt. Trix is the major part of that, though. And normal yogurt is what I meant. Trix yogurt is not good for you because of all that goddamn sugar and shit it has in it. This yogurt that I'm eating is probiotic, apparently.
Silly, Chris.
What do you
Except for
mean?
chicks.
What are you eating? Yoplait?
No, it's off-brand yogurt. It's just whatever it's the grocery store's brand, kind of like Great Value for Walmart.
Ah, gotcha.
Probiotic whole milk vanilla yogurt.
In any case,
Also, can we talk about something though that has always bugged me with Galaxy Quest? Laredo, okay, Daryl's character on the show or the movie, on the show that the movie is based on, he's a fucking kid, no older than like 11,
Right.
piloting a fucking starship.
Uh-huh.
Now, forgive me and correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there child labor laws against stuff like that?
In our
Well,
day
you
and
have to
age,
think about
sure.
you have to think about it this way. For one, it's the future, so we don't know whether or not the child labor laws have been rescinded or lessened to a certain extent. Two, you're forgetting the appearance of child prodigies. A lot of the times when it comes to child prodigies, a lot of those rules tend to go towards the wayside. So if he showed a great aptitude in piloting, being able to control the starship, they'd be more likely to bend that rule for.
I mean, I guess that's fair, but me being me, if you're going to tell me that a child is piloting my starship, I don't think I'm getting on that starship, at least not willingly.
And I mean, that's fair, but again, it goes into if he's there, he's obviously been deemed good enough to be there. Which means that I'm going to have faith in whoever actually put him there, because even knowing what little I do from, Star Trek and all the other different sci-fi movies and things that I've seen, controlling those spaceships is one of the hardest, if not the hardest, jobs on those ships.
Yeah.
You're piloting this giant ass ship with one mistake, you could be atomized. So even though he's an 11-year-old kid, the fact that he's sitting in that chair means he passed every test that they threw at him and still managed to come out on top.
That's a fair way of looking at it.
And then you got to think about the fact that he was probably one of thousands of candidates in that school that they send them to, kind of like in Star Trek, the academy, He's one of thousands of people that actually managed to pass, which means he beat out adults to be flying that ship.
Sorry, the kid walked in.
So I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not all that hung up on it. No, if he was if he was like one of the security officers, yeah, I can see that. I'd rather have somebody that doesn't weigh the same size as my luggage protecting me on the ship.
Yeah, that's fair.
Regardless of what tests he may or may not have passed. Unless, of course, he was a descendant of, a super soldier, kind of like La'an is in Strange New Worlds.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that scene where one of the actors well, fucks one of the aliens.
Come on, we've all thought about it.
Yeah, but to want to do this one, you gotta be into some weird shit because they're like octopus alien thing.
Maybe he's Japanese, or he has a favorite type of anime. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah.
No.
I once knew a guy that wanted to get kinky with one of the xenomorphs. I don't question these things.
You gotta question that one. What? What?
Yep. He was a very strange person. Real sweet guy. Definitely fucked up in the head, though.
I mean, you kind of gotta be.
At that point.
I never asked him about it because I didn't want to know. I was afraid that he would actually tell me the answer.
That's fair.
And that goes into one of those areas of where there's not enough mind bleach in the world to get that information out of your head again.
Indeed.
Yeah, I can. That would.
Kind of like seeing Grandpa in a stringini.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a mental image.
Don't worry about the sound that Grandma and Grandpa are making, kids. They're just playing Tomb Raider.
Jesus. Well, it is, however, Halloween tomorrow. What do you guys have planned for Halloween? I mean, I know neither of you actually have kids, but hey, some people let adults trick or treat. So, you know.
Drinking.
I have this thing called work.
Yeah, but you'll be off about the time the trick or treating starts.
I mean, technically, but I don't get home until like 5 o'clock.
Drinking. I'm going to a bar.
No, of course you are.
Well, they've got a special party. It's not, and I'm a regular there, so.
Uh-huh.
Same
Whatever
bar.
you got to tell yourself, John.
Hey, it's the same bar I do karaoke at. So invite me.
Promises, promises.
You dressing up with your kids tomorrow, Chris?
I am. Yeah.
Wait,
what's your costume?
Ghostface.
No, actually. I was going to, but my daughter requested, because she's going as Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter requested that I wear my Flash hockey jersey and I walk around as Flash to her Wonder Woman. So I will be obliging
Nice.
my 4-year-old to wear my Flash jersey. But I do have, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Saturday, the day after, my mom is coming into town for a little bit. She built Artie and Levy some boo baskets.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and then The Louisiana State Fair is also in town and around, so we're going to try to take Mom to that to go experience that. I've never been to the Louisiana State Fair, mind you. I've only ever been to the Texas State Fair. The Texas State Fair is massive. I mean, it is fucking huge. The entire fairgrounds are always there in Dallas, and they're so massive that they take up an entire section of downtown.
Yes, I remember that you took me to.
Right. It's about a 4-block section of downtown. And I pass by on my way to work the Louisiana State Fairgrounds every day. Again, they're always there. But I could walk around this state fair, including rides and games. If I wanted to do rides and games, I could get it all done in about 4 hours. Minus the rides and games, 2 hours. 2 hours walking around. To put into perspective for you, we took Carter to the State Fair of Texas for one day. We were there from like noon to I think 6, 7 in the evening, and we still didn't see. We saw maybe 75% of the fair. We didn't even see all of it.
No, we were there. We were there later than that. So
Was it later than that?
The fireworks.
That's right. So that would have been about 9 o'clock. But even still, noon to 9 o'clock, that's fucking 9 hours. That is a whole fucking work day. We were there and saw 70 to 75% of the fair. You cannot see it all in one day. I mean, if you do see it all in one day, you're really putting in the work. You're really putting in the work at the State Fair of Texas.
And you were so sad because you didn't get to see your trophy.
So see, I didn't get to see the trophy. I didn't get to see the World Series trophy at the State Fair, but I got to see it a couple weeks later. So I was good.
What about you, Carter? Are you dressing up tomorrow?
I was still good.
I am for costume contest at work.
It's costume.
Nice. What do you?
Jason Todd.
Hell yeah.
And take the helmet and everything too. Plus, it works out because tomorrow's going to be like 54 degrees is the high.
Right.
And that cosplay is 4 layers before the leather jacket on top.
Tracks.
God damn.
Yeah, Jason Todd is specifically a winter cosplay only.
I will be going
so,
as Last Stand Spider-Man tomorrow.
Okay.
Because that's the leather jacket I got at Comic-Con.
Right. That you sat in the Batmobile with like a sacrilegious heathen.
I would have had a super, like, if they had the Smallville jacket, I probably would have gone for that. But yeah, you know the jacket I'm talking about with the embossed S on it. That badass son bitch.
That jacket is sexy as fuck. Like I don't like a lot of the Superman jackets, that have been in like shows and movies, but the Smallville one, that one's actually cool as shit. I enjoy the fuck out of that one.
The one that John Schneider almost thought was the Smallville jacket.
Yeah.
He was like, "That's
see for me.
That's not the Smallville jacket, is it?" I'm like, "No, unfortunately not."
See for me, I don't want the Smallville jacket. I want the guy that was underneath the jacket.
Yeah, that tracks. That makes.
I mean, I think deep down we all want a piece of Tom Welling,
You're not wrong.
Specifically during his Smallville era.
Fair enough. But having met Tom Welling, he is a very nice guy.
He is.
Very, very down to earth dude. He'll sit there and talk to you for fucking hours if you get the chance. I mean, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, he sure will.
That's how
Because I got to meet him
Lou Ferrigno is too.
2 years ago.
Yeah. You said that's how who is?
That's how Lou Ferrigno is too. He'll sit there and talk your ear off, which is ironic because he's deaf.
But
no, I mean, Tom Welling is such a fucking nerd too. He'll debate any nerdy contract with you. We met him for Hannah because I was just starting Smallville for I think my second run through since the series first aired at this point in time. And like I was a fan, don't get me wrong, but I was more interested in Michael Rosenbaum, who had voiced the Flash.
Because you're a bitch.
So we meet him, we have a conversation with him, and his question of who's the best Superman. And then we start talking to Michael Rosenbaum, and his line's done because they're about to do panels. They're cut off. I was last in line for Michael Rosenbaum, and I'm telling him my story about why the Flash means so much to me. And Tom comes over and he goes, "So who's your favorite Flash?" I go, "Well, that's a complicated question with a complicated answer. Honestly, up front is Barry Allen, but I love each and every Flash for their own thing. I love Wally West because of how connected he is with the Speed Force and how his speed works. I love Jay Garrick because, he was just looking for a way to get faster, ended up inhaling hard water vapor, and became the fastest man on Earth. And instead of using it to his advantage on the football field, he decided to just start saving people. So I love them all, but in all honesty, it's Barry because, Barry made the role." And his answer was so in depth on why Wally West is the best Flash. We were there for like 20 minutes. They were late to their panel because Tom Welling wanted to debate why Wally West was the best Flash with me
That's awesome.
for 20 minutes. And honestly, probably the best 20 minutes of my life.
You want to hear something fucked up?
But yeah, I mean, fuck. And he gives good hugs. He gives a good hug.
And Tom Welling is a tall man.
Not as good as David. Honestly, dude, I didn't expect it to be as tall as he was.
Right? Like when I met him a couple of years ago, I just kind of had to look up at him. I'm like, how's the weather up there? Because he's got at least a head or two on me.
Right. I was thinking like, I knew he would be taller than me, but I didn't expect him to be that much taller than me.
Right.
And then Michael Rosenbaum make him look like a normal sized dude. But shit.
Hey, Chris.
I got to meet any of the actors from Galaxy Quest. What's up?
When thinking of the best Superman, all you got to remember is it's the opposite of Christopher Walken. And you know what the opposite of Christopher Walken is, right?
Hey, you're talking to my guy all wrong here.
You know what
do it again. I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
You know what the opposite of Christopher Walken
I get the joke.
is, right? Right?
Christopher Reeve.
Christopher Reeve.
No, see, we all know that the best Superman will always be Brandon Routh.
I mean, he's not.
He wasn't a bad Superman. It was bad writing.
I'm like, he wasn't that bad, in my opinion. But we're getting off the
It was bad writing. Yeah. If I got to meet any of the stars from Galaxy Quest, if I got to meet any of the stars from Galaxy Quest, it either had to be Sigourney Weaver or Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I
have to agree.
Yeah. I mean, because like if I met Rainn Wilson, I wouldn't be meeting Rainn Wilson for Galaxy Quest. I'd either be meeting Rainn Wilson for The Office or for Harry Mudd.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as much as I dislike Discovery, I did enjoy seeing Harry Mudd back, and I did enjoy seeing him portray Harry Mudd. I think he did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Tony, again, I would not be meeting him for Galaxy Quest. It would be for Psych. I enjoyed him in that show. It's honestly a great show.
You mean Monk, right?
Or Monk. Yeah, Monk. Psych is with y'all know what I meant. Shut up.
Well, yeah, we
Did
know,
you
but
know
they
Daryl?
don't know.
Yeah, well, you know what, Daryl, I don't know. You know, I've gotten the chance to meet Missy Pyle. She was really lovely. My wife wanted to talk to her about another role that she'd done. But honestly, I forget about Missy Pyle so much. I really do. And it's not, you know, not that I mean to, but she's been in so much as kind of like a background actor. You know, she's not number one.
As a secondary character.
Right.
Still got to meet bastard.
And she was lovely. She was lovely to talk to. Again, my wife was talking to her about a different role that she'd been in, a different movie, and they talked for about 5-10 minutes. I walked up and, you know, just to, you know, join my wife after getting a signature from someone else. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You were in Galaxy Quest. She goes, yes, I was. It was a fun time. That was it.
Yes, I was.
But yeah, it'd probably be Sigourney Weaver or Tim Allen, just because, you know, again, meeting Sigourney Weaver, of course, I'm going to talk to her about Alien and some of the other roles that she's been in. Tim Allen, of course, I'm going to talk about Buzz Lightyear. Of course, I'm going to talk about Last Man Standing. I'm going to talk about Zoom. But Galaxy Quest is definitely up there for me with Tim Allen, which, well, I think is a lot of people's introduction to Tim Allen, because wasn't that like his first show?
Talking Home Improvement?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Or close to it at the very least.
Right.
I think he did stand up before that show, and the show was based on his stand up.
Right. Now, if I had a time machine, of course I'd go back and meet Alan Rickman specifically for Galaxy Quest. Don't get me wrong, great as Snape. Don't get me wrong, it's not Christmas till Hans Gruber falls off the Nakatomi Tower, but Galaxy Quest is my favorite Alan Rickman role. By far. With that, man, I've got nothing else. To be honest with you guys, my mind's fried. It's been a long week and a half.
Got a lot of shit to do tomorrow.
I do. I've got a whole ass fucking 9 to 5, and then fucking trick or treating with the kids, which is going to take about 2 hours, if not 3.
Again, that's your own fault. Learn to pull out better. You wouldn't have to deal with that.
Valid point. But still.
Hey, man, I love trick or treating with the kids, because around here, most of the houses, about half of them, have candy for the kids and beer for the adults. So I'm good.
Sure.
But as for this episode, guys, this is Captain Yarborough, and I am signing off.
Captain Hudson signing off. Happy Halloween and live long and prosper, you filthy ant.
Join us next week for our most anticipated episode yet. Join us next week for our most anticipated episode yet. Discovery. Star Trek Discovery. We'll find some way to make that show worth a couple hour topic.
You didn't even get past the episode.
Yeah, considering that
All right.
I've seen the most of Discovery, that's probably one I'll have to spearhead.
This.
And with that,